Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Oh man, rough game. Many of us, we pretty much predicted that this was going to be a loss, but I think we were predicting it being a loss based on Clemson was going to turn back into Deshaun Watson's or Trevor Lawrence's Clemson. But the reality of the situation was that was not the case. That was not the case. Obviously, we were not Mario Cristobal's Oregon either, from his tenure at Oregon. So, it was still going to be a loss. But it's about how you lose sometimes, man, to be honest with you. And I see some people saying, well, hey, right there in the middle or right there, Clemson kind of took their foot off the gas and Dabo may have stopped coaching. But, hey, whatever the situation was, we got those 3 turnovers, right? Now, what we didn't do with those 3 turnovers, that's a whole other discussion in and of itself. But we did get those 3 particular turnovers. And it's one of those situations where I will say that, no, we do not have the amount of talent to where we can recover from a John Campbell false start when we're in position to actually score again with Jake Garcia in the game. No, we're not talented enough to where we can lose 5 yards and go back to 2nd and 15 or 1st and 15, whatever the scenario was, and expect that we're going to, capitalize against a very good defense. No, we're not that good. But regardless of the situation, I'm not going to minimize that we did get 3 turnovers. I'm not going to do that, right? So let's talk about some of the good. Cam Kinch's still playing at an extremely high level the past 2 weeks. I don't know if it's extra film study. I don't know if it's extra work. I don't know if he's talked to his parents. Or it could just be the situation where, hey, he looks at that PFF thing and say, hey, man, they saying I'm playing the best ball. I don't feel like maybe I'm playing the best ball, but at least y'all think I am. So let me show y'all that I am. Let me validate being the highest rated or highest graded safety throughout the entire season. And so if you have a fan, a person that, looks at PFF and doesn't necessarily watch the Miami Hurricanes or anything like that, Cam Kitchens has gave you something to watch the past 2 weeks. I want to say in the first half, one of the moderators said that Cam Kitchens had 8 tackles, and that was in the first half. So I know he easily got into double-digit tackles. So it was just good seeing him be in a race. It was good to see that sure tackling Cam Kitchens again. He made a very nice open field tackle towards the end of the game. Made some big tackles throughout the entirety of the game. Didn't get his hands on the football this game, but he was around the ball, right? And I'm always under the mindset that if my linebacker, my safety is leading the team in tackles, I don't really think that's by design because Cam is not one of those guys that plays up to the plays close to the box. But it is what it is, right? Wesley Basaint, I am just continue to be impressed by his IQ of the game and understanding what the game means when it says going back to the Little Giants. And I'm sure this was a slight exaggeration, but I do feel football is 80% mental, right? And so we can be enamored by the tangibles all day, the speed, the size, the ability to get the guy on the ground. But I'm more enamored with the intangibles, right? Because in order for you to actually play fast on the football field, you have to know what you're doing, right? There's some guys who are playing fast, and you hear the old cliche, well, son, if you don't know what you're doing, at least go in the direction fast. Well, I kind of like it more so when it's like you know what you're doing and then you're going fast. And I like that. I like the fact that Wes has been able to play at that level. Like I said on another video, I'm just happy to see that we finally have a linebacker that identifies that, hey, the running back is slipping out of the backfield, and we need to put eyes on him. We need to ID him and realize that, hey, he's an eligible receiver. We're not going to give the quarterback something cheap, right? We're going to make DJ hold the ball, and that's another good thing that I felt like we did, right? But I'm gonna get to that next. I like to compare guys, right? Wes Bassane and Harold Perkins came in the same class. Some people would say obviously Harold Perkins is a different style of linebacker than Wesley Bassane is, but I mean it is what it is. I'm very interested to watch these two young men over the next 3 to 4 years. Um, excuse me. Well, 2 to 3 years, right? Unless barring injury, right? 2 to 3 years max. But I would be interested to see how these two young men play and the expanded role because, like I was telling somebody, I said Perkins has his weaknesses, Wes has his weaknesses. So it would be very interesting to see both guys become more complete linebackers over the next 2 to 3 years. So I'm going to be excited to see that, but even more excited to see it from Wesley Bassine. Akeem Mesidor. Akeem Mesidor, for good or bad, has been consistently graded as our highest defensive rated player throughout the entire year, according to PFF. Again, I do not know what metrics PFF is using to come up with these particular scores, but I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it with my eyes, right? I haven't seen it, right? But I saw it today. I kind of compared Akeem Mesidor to Anthony Davis during his tenure with the Pelicans, where according to PFF PER, he played such a good game, but it really did not make an impact on the grand scheme of things, right? It wasn't, you didn't have those one or two plays where it's like, okay, all right, that's going to mean something. Well, he had those plays today. He had two huge sacks. I'm talking about huge sacks. Um, Looked like a legit pass rusher today, right? And obviously, I know a lot of us get caught up with the sack totals, and we expect for a guy to be at the DN position to be, a sack man. But the reality of the situation is not always going to be that, right? Some guys are decent pass rushers, but their strong suit is really setting that edge and really understanding how to man a gap to spill a play to another ball carrier. And I do think Akeem Mesidor is a smart player, so I'm not going to diminish that. But up until the Virginia game and then up until this game again, I just hadn't seen the highest rated defensive player on our team, right? Right? To my eyes, right? And my eyes are not PFF eyes, right? But I do think that he played good ball today, right? I really do think he played a solid game today, right? And getting back to player IQ again, man. Jafari Harvey. You could have had your second touchdown in your career. I don't know what he was. I don't know what he was thinking. But I'm not gonna trash the young man by but kind of got to identify because right now what the referees are doing is if it's a free ball on the ground, if you don't hear the whistle, jump on the ball or try to pick the ball up, try to make a play, force them to blow the whistle, right? And if it goes in our favor, it goes in our favor. But, to kind of see Harvey, not catch the interception or which it wasn't an interception to begin with, and just kind of jump up and down. And then we see Big Miller come through there, scoop it up. Man, did y'all know Big Miller can move like that? I would be interested to see what Big Miller split 20-yard time is, or his 10-yard. Big Miller is moving, people. So we might need to, it's the last game of the season. Well, the last scheduled guaranteed game of the season next week. Hey, man, might need to put Big Miller in on short yards, man. Big Miller was rolling. I think Big Miller hit like a little juke too on the side. I said, man, what Big Miller been watching the Reggie Bush highlights? But Harvey, I feel like if Harvey would have picked the ball up, Harvey probably would have had a better opportunity to score. It would have been your second touchdown in your career because remember, Harvey got the pick six last year. So I'm thinking he probably was thinking, oh, man, I got another pick six. But I do think Harvey would have scored. But the bad thing about that turnover right there is that turnover. No, that wasn't that turnover. It was another turnover. It was the other turnover that we had that ended up being it was the Ivy interception that ended up being the safety, right? But those were two good plays or three good plays, right? And I do think that we after I don't know if it was shock or what the situation was, but the defense somewhat settled down. And going into the second half until, the levee broke, we had held those guys to 3 points. And I think we were playing pretty good complementary football. Well, no, let me stop lying. We were not playing good complementary football. I think the defense played solid, right? I really do think the defense played solid. And when you add in the fact the amount of time that the defense had to be out there on the field due to a stagnant offense, I do think they held their own pretty well. In all actuality, right? Obviously, could have been better. Probably, could have tackled better. Probably could have, sealed some edges better. Obviously some nitpicky type of things. But I do think the defense played, well enough. I'm not gonna say to win, but they played well enough for us to stay in the ball game, right? Offensively, we kind of know what not to expect, right? We were able to get a touchdown. We were able to get a touchdown. We're in position to score another touchdown. Now, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get out of here. I know a lot of people say that, okay, we don't have the talent, right? I disagree. But what I will agree with the people from a talent perspective is that no, we do not have the talent against a good team where we can have a 5-yard false start and put us in negative down and distance, right? Put us in a negative situation. John Cameron had a false start. And we are not in a position where we can have a false start. Then I think we turned around and gave up a sack. And we can't have that and expect to beat good teams. So, no, we do not have the talent to overcome something like that. But we were in position to potentially score because it was just a 2-possession game with a little bit over 11 minutes to go. So, had we gotten in a situation to score or actually score, whether albeit that be a field goal or actually a touchdown, I feel like Clemson was kind of somewhat feeling the pressure, right? Some people say, well, they stopped caring in the middle of part of the game. Dabo stopped coaching or whatever the situation was, right? But I do think that we could have made the game a little bit more interesting than what it was, right? And, no, this is the last thing, right? I see some people upset with Dabo trying to get his son a touchdown and get Herb Street's son a touchdown and saying, hey, he's a prick, he's this, he's that, hope with Mario. Listen. I don't care, right? I don't care. I look at it more so as a situation like, hey, I own you. I have owned you. I think someone said Dabo was on that 92 Bama team that beat us for the national championship. And so if he was, hey, he don't like Miami anyway. So he's a Crimson Tide. So he may take pleasure in that. We knocked y'all off y'all high horse back in 92. And every time I line up against y'all, I'm going to make y'all remember that y'all are not who y'all think y'all are, right? I'm just happy he didn't have a chain to cut up this time, right? But anyway, like, share, subscribe, and let's just get through the end of this year and hope for better times next year.